What's up, fight fans? Can you guys hear me out there right now? Hopefully, I fix this problem. Let's see here. What's up? No, this isn't. This isn't it. This isn't it. This isn't it. Yes. 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 I can hear myself. Yes. Yes. All right, I'm gonna turn it down a little bit. I can hear myself. All right, word. Oh yes. About time. All right. So we're just gonna let some people get up in here. Uh okay, where's my chat here? Very interesting. All right, let me just get set up. I'm sorry about uh but okay, how could I there we go. Audio is good. Okay, thank you. Thank you. That's what I wanted to know. Okay. Thank you. Danny, what's up, baby? Patrick, what's up? I just want to let a couple other people get back into the channel because I had just gotten out. I had to fix the audio. I knew I had it. I must have disconnected something, switching up everything. So we're gonna do this video the right way. Okay. Um, all right. Now, so let's kick off this episode of Round One Sports Talk. What's up, YouTube family? And we're back at it with another edition of Round One Sports TV. We're going to be taking an even closer look at two interesting fighters, Naoya Inoue, the current 122-pound undisputed champion of the world. He will be making his first title defense of all four belts against Luis Nares Pantera. We're going to be taking a look at both fighters and what their records are. Um, well, let's take a look at Luis Nares first, right? So that's what we're going to do. We're going to take care of him first. I have his record up here on boxing record as well. And I have some footage on him so that we can get more familiar of his style. If you're not so familiar, because sometimes you might forget what he looks like. So this is Luis Nares, right? Nave, Luis Pantera Nares, right? He comes to us with a record of he has 35 fights, 27 big ways by knockout, and one loss. The only man he lost to was Brandon Figueroa. Interesting enough, between the Mexican fighters at the 122-pound weight division, he is ranked number one in the world. So he's the top Mexican 122 pounder in the world, is what they're saying on Boxing Record. You can look that up yourself. Um, and he's 29 years old, 5'5", and he has a 65-inch arm reach. Okay, southpaw. Interesting enough, this is his style and his technique that more than likely he's going to try to fight Naoya Inoue. I believe so anyway. He's been fighting his entire career this way right here. And as you can see, he's a smart fighter too. He's the type of fighter that will throw one to take one. You see, but just because he moves in forward like this and throws a lot of punches at the wayside doesn't mean that he doesn't understand his technique. I want you to pay attention to this sharp inside that one. He throws it very often, very slick. That one. It's real sharp and it comes out straight like this, right? Look, in a lot of right there, in a lot of his fights, he does it. And that's where I think that is one of his best punches where he surprises his opponent. When he hits you with that shot, that one, look at underneath. He has good shots to the body. And like ooh, and like I said, he has value. Look, hands to the wayside though. His defense, you see, this guy isn't as fast as the Japanese superstar. Look at, but you gotta admit one thing that you don't go into every fight fighting the same person the same way. You see, Lewis, look, his hands, he's attacking. Yes, he's attacking, but you see, in question, you see, had this guy taken the time to look up, but you know why he can't look up? Because of that pressure, because of that relentless pressure that Lewis is putting on him. Look at, look how Pantera look. It's like he doesn't get tired. You know, early out in his career, he fought the majority of his fights in this way, and this is what concerns me coming into the fight because I don't think that you're gonna be able to get away with a lot of stuff like that against the Japanese superstar. I don't think, because he's too sharp. And later on, I got footage and I want to take a look at him and I want to show you. A lot of us kind of see and know his fights, but it's one thing to go over them and keep them fresh inside of your mind, right? So, Luis Nares, right, is for my part, my description of him, he's a tough guy. That's exactly what he is. He's a tough guy. He's a brawler, but at the same sense, he does have smarts. He does have a little smarts. The only reason I truly believe he lost that fight against Brandon Figueroa, one, he ran into the mirror image of himself. The only thing was that Brandon Figueroa was the same image, the same fighter, right? Just bigger. That's it. He was taller, he was lengthier, and going into the fight, he probably weighed more than him. So he had all the advantages with all the qualities that he has. He was just a bigger version of him. That's that's the only man that beat him was his equal. And that's what I talk about against the Japanese superstar. Who's going to beat him? And I believe it's going to truly have to be the same version of him. You see? And so when we get into breaking down the Japanese superstar, right? I want you to take a look at this fight right here in particular, right? Well, these are highlights. All right. This is JC Maloney, Madison Square Garden, right? And as you can see, his speed, the Japanese superstar, wait a minute. We're going a little too fast. He needs an introduction as well. Okay. The Japanese superstar, he comes to us with a record of 26 fights, 23 knockouts, and no losses, right? He is currently the 122-pound um, undisputed champion of the world. Um, he's 5'5". He has a 67-inch arm reach. Okay. And he's coming off his last win against Marlon Tapales with a 10th round stoppage where he knocked out Marlon Tapales to unify all four belts. We're going to be taking a look at the Japanese superstar's footwork, hand speed, placement, and ring IQ, and most importantly, his selection of punches. This is important. Okay. Now, as you can see, oh, this uppercut right starting off the video is crazy. As you can see, his jab when he's gonna throw it. Oh, nice little inside uppercut. You see, he's not afraid to even fight you at your own game. If Maloney wants to come in, he'll exchange with him. And he's taking steps forward and telling Maloney what happened. What happened with exchanging? Look, I'm here. I mean, who's going backwards? Who's going and who initiated it? You see, he'll play your game. Look at his jab. This fight in particular that I really want to. Oh my goodness, how he doubled up on that hook. And you can't make. Oh, shoulder roll, connect. That I always talk about that shot because it's just so beautiful. It's a perfect illustration of how not to throw a double jab. And you have to make sure that the guy is at the right distance with you and he's not already at an angle. You know, he threw that Maloney threw that double jab just instinctively. Just because he's know how to my God, that is something else. That was a thing of beauty right there. He really had Maloney figured out, set him up, man. Um to, and his punch misses everything. He, the art of boxing, hit without being hit. You are here to assist me on whooping your ass. That's what you're here for. Okay? That's how he treats his opponents. Des Marinas is a good boxer by all accounts. The Japanese superstar quickly saw a flaw in his boxing technique, where that a lot of men have a lot of extensive amateur backgrounds, but they fight amateurish. It's 3 rounds. It's usually a lot of offense. There's no feeling out process. And he doesn't really know how to tuck his elbows in. You see? And in the pros, amateur style and pro style boxing are l- two different levels. And right here, you can see how the Japanese superstar attacks the body viciously. You see, and his placement, these punches are not easy to do. He makes it look simple. Yet, look, with just one step, he's in so close, he's got the angle and the torque behind the punch. It's not like he's standing from back here and just trying to hit you to the body. His foot is around his foot, which gave him leverage and off the look, the snap. Those are things of beauty. That punch is not what he wanted. That's the one he wanted. All those other punches up top were a distraction for him to pay attention up top so that he can come in on the side door. Wow, this is a thing of beauty right here. When you can do this to a Hall of Famer, wow, lights out, lights out. You've already fought this man. This man knows what you have to offer. And you turned his lights off like that. You were still able to trick him. You see? See, Donaire going into that fight. Donaire going into the first fight, the Donaire fight. I always say this because I always get mad when they say that. Donaire says he has the blueprint for beating the Japanese superstar. Blueprint. Isn't a blueprint supposed to be a blueprint to success? You know what I mean? It's not supposed to be a blueprint to getting your ass kicked, right? So, like, his illustration of how the second fight went was really unique because he said they were like two Japanese swordsmen and they were coming up against each other and they just like clashed in the air, two swords, and then one drops and shit. I thought that was pretty cool illustration, but he had to give it to the Japanese superstar that he hit hard and he stopped him. But it's one thing to knock out Donaire, right? But it's another thing the way he did it, in the slick style he did it. He hit Donaire with a flush punch. At this level in the game, Donaire doesn't get cracked with those kind of shots anymore. Fighters have either learned how to roll with a punch, dodge a punch. It's very hard to hit pro boxers at this level because that's why the knockouts are so few in between at a high level. You know what I mean? Because unless you're putting up a guy that is not like in the top 10 against them, he's probably going to score a knockout. But when you notice when it's like the number one, number two, number three guys and they're fighting each other, it's hard to get just a flush knockout. It's usually a lot of rounds of wear and tear, and he broke the guy down, and he got a little tired. His hands got heavier. He dropped. Boom! He got the shot he wanted, and it's usually like that. It's not in the first round that he hit you with a shot like that. You know the reads he had to make to hit, and then the timing to know that the window was right there. In that moment, the guy's attacking you. That, mind you, broke your orbital bone. He's the man that caused you the most harm in your entire career. He's coming. That guy is coming towards you in this moment. In this moment, that guy is coming towards you. And you know what this guy said? Boom. That's what I got for you. He knocked him the hell out. And that is impressive. That is very impressive to do. Talk about facing your fears in a split second. Here we have him coming up against Paul Butler. Now, Paul Butler is a crafty fighter, pretty durable fighter, I would say, in his own right. I wouldn't say he's the greatest boxing technician, but a counterpuncher he is. He does possess skills, and I gotta admit, he's tough. As you can see, he went a lot of rounds, and the Japanese superstar turned him into a human punching bag, as you can see right here. The Japanese superstar, he didn't allow Paul Butler to open up. He didn't even want to hear anything he had to offer. And at some point in the fight, he started to get bored and inviting Paul Butler to fight. And every time he threw a punch like that, the Japanese superstar made him pay like that. He had Paul Butler running the whole night. Paul Butler wanted to open up. He just couldn't. He just couldn't because the Japanese superstar's onslaught was just too strong. Every single time he would back him up and have him pinned up against the rope like that, throwing combinations like that at him, and they were vicious too. Um, and Paul Butler, no one had Paul Butler coming into this fight, mind you, right? But he did do good and he did fare well. He lasted 10 rounds. Was the fight exciting? Mm, Probably not, right? Was it competitive? Probably not. Not so competitive. But he did show the world if you can take a good punch and nullify a little bit of his power, you got to build off of that. Somehow, some way, whatever he did got him into the 10th round. And that's not easy to do against this guy. This guy was anxious. He was ready. He was coming in there to unify all four belts. Okay. And here we have him coming against Jamie McDonald. Now, I want to let you guys know, most of you know the backstory of this, but to the new viewers that don't know or that are just watching, Jamie McDonough was a European champion that was undefeated for over 10 years. He did lose earlier in his career, I believe, but he's never been knocked out or knocked down in his entire career. He held this title at the 118 for 4 years, going on 4 years. He was coming up. Now, coming into this fight, the Japanese superstar was given height, reach, weight. He was moving up to a new weight division. This was his first fight in the new weight division. This guy is 5'11, 5'10, 5'11. He's 5'5. He's got over 5 inches in reach on the Japanese superstar. And he's never been knocked out in his entire career. One round. One round. He didn't make it out the first round. Look at this. Height, reach, never been knocked down. New weight division. This is not the Japanese guy's weight division. He's a little guy. I'm going to teach him to stay in his own. Look at that's the killer smirk right there. That's the smirk I talk about. Was an awesome performance right here. I got to tell you, I got to admit, that I talk about this right here. And sorry about my mic issues, and hopefully everything is working good because, I've been wanting to come out and tell you guys this with no interruptions and good video about this moment right here in particular in time because we got to reflect back to what happened. Remember, most of us were trying to stick up for this guy. Either we were somewhere talking with a friend at a bar, home, or something, and we were telling people about the Japanese superstar. And do you remember what it was like explaining to everyone what this guy was about? And then you said that he was at 118 pounds, and they were like, huh? 115 pounds, 108, all the divisions that he fought in, now entering the 102, 122, right? So I get it. I'm there with you on that. And some of my friends were right away when they saw he had skills right off the rip, but didn't really want to take too much interest into him. Coming into this fight right here is when everything, all his crossroads met. And they were going to decide whether he was the real deal or he was a fraud. Most reporters and most YouTube channels out there were reporting this man as top rank, promoting fighters like this, hype jobs, and that the ugly face and corruption is showing its ugly face again. And you see, now they got another great white hope, but he's a great white Japanese hope, type thing. And everybody wasn't buying it. They were like, we've seen this time again. You can stop it. The Japanese superstar must have felt offended at that point. You mean to tell me that my entire body of work, all the heads I left, all the bodies I left in my wreckage and got me here, and you're gonna look me in the face and say, because of the fact that I haven't in a fight this style of opponent, right? A slick black African American slick style. I haven't fought that style yet. That you believe that defines me as a boxer, as a fighter. Oh no, but wait, there's more. He has loaded hand wraps, and that's why he's so good. You think my success is because I load my hand wraps with tape? Oh no. Why the steroid testing, this and that? I heard a rumor. And it was just one thing after another. And as a fighter, being so successful and knowing you've been beating all these men on the up and up, you ain't no high job. You've been busting your ass in that gym day in and day out. For them to turn around and the cameras are flashing and the mic comes in your face and goes, hey, now, yo, yeah, anyway, I heard you're a hype job. What? What are you talking about? Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. You're going to get your ass kicked. You know why you're going to get your ass kicked? Why? Oh, because Stephen Kubo Fulton is a different style of opponent you've never fought before. Huh? Right? And now all of a sudden, his body of work means nothing. And guess what's going to happen? Stephen Kubo Fulton is going to give him them hands. But you know what the Japanese superstar said? Listen, he said, I don't think so. And he took it to Stephen Kubo Fulton. This is what happened on that night. And I want you to know what happens when Japanese people roll out the red carpet for you. They arrive in Japan. They show them red carpet treatment. Stephen Kubo Fulton was there. If he had any issues leading up into the fight, he could have announced it to the fighting committee out in Japan. He didn't choose to do that, right? Now, I understand that there was discrepancy between Stephen Kubo Fulton and his coach. And his coach announced it against my fighter's wishes. I'm going to speak up, right? After he kind of spoke up or he was going there, I don't know if it was up to Stephen Kubo Fulton to pull his card right there. You want to show strength in your team, so that kind of puts you in a weird situation. If I was him, I probably would have let my coach finish too, and then pull his coattail back at the lobby and be like, yo, bro, you know what I'm saying? If you feel this way. So, and then on top of all of that, the Japanese superstar did not have to agree to anything Stephen Kubo Fulton's coach asked him to do. Do you know why? Because according to the rules in Japan, he's in his legal rights to wrap his hands like that, because every other fighter there that's ever been there and that there, that's the technique that they allow. They also allow that same taping style in Las Vegas. Those are the Las Vegas rules. And in certain other cities, but it is true in certain other cities, they don't allow tape on the skin. What they were talking about is him starting off his hand wrap with tape on his wrist, so that when a fighter gets a fracture and he bends his wrist, what they were saying that he was putting tape on his wrist and it was making it like a cast so that his wrist doesn't bend. You see? Because actually putting like a calf substance on your knuckles, you would think it would sound good, but that doesn't work. You got to remember that that's also on your hand. That's going to slap back against your knuckles. You're probably liable breaking your hand trying to hit him in the face hard. So you don't really want something hard on your knuckles, because that's going to slam back into your knuckles. Everybody thinks it works like that. It don't work like that, bro. You're going to punch somebody with rings on. Tell me how that works out for you. You see? So what they were saying, it was in the wrist. They put it here, like that, and they put it all up here like this. That's how they put it. So anyway, the Japanese superstar told them, you know what? How would you like me to wrap my hands? And they said, we want you to wrap them this way. The Japanese superstar's team wrapped his hand. Stephen Kubo Fulton's coach was standing right there. The referee, a person from the thing, they signed off on it. Oh, one more thing. One more thing. And I said all of that to say this. The reason why I brought all of that out is because they truly, truly got the Japanese man to be outside of his element. And this is the first time I ever saw him like frustrated in a fight. Like he was so mad and angry that he wanted to prove to Stephen Kubo Fulton, bro, you can't beat me, bro. Like he was antsy in the fight. He wanted to show he wasn't there to be bullied and he wasn't there to be pushed around. And he was fighting in that style. Check it out. Right there, he opens up early, goes to the body. His jab was fast. Stephen Kubo Fulton was testing the waters at this point in the fight. That punch was thrown with bad intention. Look right there, right there. Boom. That was a heavy punch right there. Look at, oh my God. He met him with the jab. Stephen Kubo Fulton's jab missed his connect. At this point is when I really believe that Stephen Kubo Fulton in round one had felt his power. Wow, that was amazing. His punches are really blinding speed. As you can see right there, look how he has him up against the rope. He just shook his arms out like that. Steve, oh, that look, he even mocked Stephen Kubo Fulton right there in the ring while doing the Philly shell back to him. Notice that. That he was showing him that he can beat him in his own game. He was using his own technique against you and beating you at that. That must be frightening. When a guy's whooping your ass at what you're good at and he's doing it better than you. Stephen Kubo Fulton came in the best shape of his life in this fight right here against the monster. This is the best I've ever seen Stephen Kubo Fulton, but at the same time, it's the most timid I've ever seen him and the most cautious in a fight. He wasn't willing to take big chances. He must have felt something and said, "Yo, he had a good poker face because I bet you he was a lot hurt more than what we were led to believe." At this point, Stephen Kubo Fulton wanted to prove to him that he wasn't hurting him with these big shots. And Stephen Kubo Fulton started to stay there. Notice how the Japanese superstar was going down to the body, and that last shot, Stephen Kubo Fulton didn't move. He didn't go backwards no more. Like right here, he was still snapping the jab. Wow. At this point, Stephen Kubo Fulton must have felt lost. He knew that he had to try something, but he didn't know what else to try. Everything wasn't working, not even his jab, his steps, his subtle movement attack. He was successful a little bit, but the Japanese superstar will cut that off from you. Look, wow, those combinations were quick, accurate, and to the point. Look, right there, he hit him to the body, and Stephen Kubo Fulton reacted to it. Look, oh, that was the beginning of the end, I think, right there. This is where the Japanese superstar really had. Oh, and then he lets off the punch. I always express that if he wanted to knock him out of the ring, he would have followed through with the punch rather than laying off with the punch. Whether he did that intentionally or not to hurt him, hats off to him because Stephen Kubo Fulton was going down. There was no need to slam him. Look, when he's hit him and he lets off, he goes off because if you were gonna go through, you're gonna go through with it. Okay, look, watch. Bang, and he goes like that. If he wanted to hurt him, he would have just went through it. And Stephen Kubo Fulton probably would have went right out that ring. That last shot right there really hurt him. Now, I gotta tell you guys, right? Coming into the Marlon Tapales fight, I said this on my last video that the Japanese superstar showed a lot of class because in fact he wore Marlon Tapales's colors in the ring. He was dressed in the red, white, and blue, which is the Filipino colors. The Japanese color is just two colors, white and red, the red dot. And usually he'll have like a patch on his shoulder and things like that. But the Japanese superstar showed real class and allowing the Filipino fans to know, I'm also representing your flag today on a world stage. Okay, whether or not your fighter, you already know your fighter's Filipino, so he's representing just by him getting in the ring. And as well, I'm going to show you guys love by I'm wearing your colors. And traditionally, a lot of fighters have done that. Floyd Mayweather is one of the more pronounced fighters that did it. I believe there was fighters before him to show, because they're trying to also win over the opposing fans, the rivals fans. You know what I mean? And when Mayweather was beating these guys, at least Mexico can see their flag being with their hand raised too, because the guy that got the winning that's winning, he got Mexican flags on the colors. You see how that works? And I believe in boxing, out of all races, I believe the Mexican trunks have been represented like, from my recollection the most. I've seen black Africans, Russians, I've seen like a lot of fighters that were not Mexican that were fighting against another Mexican do that same thing to show respect like that. And it was pretty cool. So, um, look, when the Japanese superstar fought Marlon Tapales, I believe that Marlon Tapales, in a sense, showed the world that let's go round one sports talk. Ding. Oh, yo, I didn't even see the messages. My fault, guys. We gotta get a date. Oh, that's not a correct one. That's a correct one. The little wire was against it. I didn't get the torque of the arm. I had to get the full, you know what I'm saying? Like, there we go. That's what's up, baby. Round one sports talk. Come on, can we get some likes up in here? Can we get some likes? All right, let me touch up on some of you guys. What's up? What's up, Carlos? What's up, James? What's up, Danny? What's up? All right, my man. All right, what's up? Glenn. Um, okay, even his chin open like that for Naoya. Is no match for the monster. I love the setup. Thank you very much. The setup's killing them, ain't it? Uh, uh, uh. Well, look, you guys want to know a lot of interesting facts, right? It's always those wild guys that gives those highly skilled guys a problem. Yes, it is. You know why? Because they're not doing the dance the way it's supposed to. It's like fighting kung fu, like right? But the guy's coming at you like this. You know what I mean? And the windmill like that, like this, right? It's you're not fighting another kung fuist. You know what I mean? So when the Japanese superstar and a lot of skilled guys fight um spontaneous fighters and these kind of fighters that are like wild, yo, it gives them trouble. And I've seen fighters like this knock out the more skilled fighter and his pressure wear down the more skilled opponent. I've seen it. And for some reason, they're the more skilled guy fares way better against a guy that's dancing the dance exactly the way it's supposed to go, rather than a guy that's unorthodox, all over the place, spontaneous. You can't get a read on him. You can't get a pattern. I believe that's why I've said this in previous videos that one of the best fights I really believe out there for the Japanese superstar is Navarrete. Navarrete. I believe Navarrete, one, Navarrete's big. Okay. Two, Navarrete can take a hell of a punch and keep coming forward. He's been cracked by big, big hitters in the game, and he just kept going forward. Navarrete, for me, scares me the most secretly out of all the fighters. I don't bring Navarrete up too much because I don't want people to start catching on and be like, wait a minute, that's him. Navarrete's outside. You know what I mean? Yo, no, no, no. Real talk, real talk. The reason why is because Navarrete is an unorthodox fighter. He has no real pattern. He's just throwing punches, volume, volume, volume. Navarrete is the kind of puncher that he's all over the place. But one thing, he hits hard. He hits very, very, very hard. And don't think that he doesn't have good placement. It seems like Navarrete has no problem hitting the target, as he's shown win after win after win after win. Listen, in a fight, the Japanese superstar is going to get touched. We're in a fight. This guy's standing in front of you and he's throwing punches. So, could Navarrete slow the Japanese superstar down? Could he weather the Japanese superstar's power? I believe so. I believe so. I believe Navarrete is one of those Mexican durable fighters, like them zombie type guys, where that you're just like hitting them with everything you got, and this guy ain't going nowhere. You know what I mean? That's Navarrete for me. Okay, I think secretly for me, he's probably one of the best fights for me. He scares me probably the most. Um, hold on. I would love to hear your thoughts on last Saturday's fight card. That dude Ismail is a problem at 140. Mayweather versus what? I thought Mayweather was gonna fight Manny Pacquiao. Mayweather versus Madonna. Where who Mayweather versus Madonna, or you guys are having a conversation about something and I'm missing something. Probably missing something. Okay, okay. First of all, right? Um, one of the biggest fighters right now, um, that I think that is making big noise. This kid at 140 is making okay, but I'm always gonna say let them mature. Let them mature. Let's see what happens when they start fighting against top tier opposition, top 10, or maybe, former champions for the young guys coming up. I always say that, right? Now, Israel, Israel, uh, I'm not going to speak early. I'm not going to speak early because I got mixed feelings. I got mixed feelings right now. Like I always say, you gotta watch it sometimes because depending who you're putting up against, who are you measure? Where's your measuring stick? Who are you saying? Is he measured by Devin Haney at 140? Is he measured by Regis Progress? Are you measuring by Ryan Garcia? Are you measuring by you know what I mean? So look, he knocked that guy out, right? But now, did that guy look like the black dude, right? Did he look like he was like top tier competition? I mean, he got caught. The old man can crack, right? The guy that beat well, he didn't beat him because he lost to Rowley, and I believe the old man should have been, granted to go out on his shield, right? But I'm talking about his opponent, the brother, right? Did he really look like he was top tier type fighter? Nah, not really. And to get caught with a punch like that, so, how are you judging the old man? You see, sometimes things can look good because they did a good impression, but against what? And then that's where I'll be like, so, um, have you all heard the news that Naoya is scared of cats? Please, please, that's late news. That dude's been fucking. Nah, Glenn, listen. Yeah, we all know that. That's just talk. That's Casemiro trying to get clout because he's pretty much irrelevant anymore, and he's probably not going to get the Naoya Inoue fight. Casemiro's time, just like I believe Luis Nares' time, was offered before. That's why it was kind of funny that he got this fight now because he was offered the fight before, during the Corona epidemic. Now, there that was during the time that I believe the Japanese stars should have fought him. And I think that their window might have passed. I know that Casemiro is interested. He's a warrior. Casemiro's a warrior. I believe he'll fight anybody. I'm never gonna say that he's scared of anybody or Casemiro was ducking anybody, but it's definitely not that the Japanese superstar is ever ducking anyone. Okay, he's just headed in a different trajectory. He has beaten and won the fights he needed to fight. Rather than you just running your mouth back here, talk about you're scared of me because you want me to turn around. And I'm already going in this direction. My career has surpassed yours, leaps and bounds. And I'm sorry that you couldn't catch up or put yourself in a situation, Casemiro, where you can actually fight me, obtain a belt somewhere, become irrelevant, and then I'll fight you. But if you're gonna fight, try to get me to fight you off of no work, I mean, what have you been doing? From what I've been hearing, Casamara, not too good. And you expect the Japanese superstar to what? Turn around and acknowledge you because you said a couple things on social media? Oh, oh, please, Casamara. You sound desperate. You want payday. You want payday. Yeah, payday. You know what I mean? Come on, we've seen that all before. The old man was winning on the scorecard against Rody. That was a crazy stop. The referee that stopped that fight in fact was the referee and the Ortiz stopped the other last Saturday. This Saturday that just passed. Ortiz scored a first round TKO knockout against his opponent in which the referee came in and stopped the fight. Now, I want to remind you that that is also coming off the announcement. I can imagine that in the referees announcer meeting that week leading up, they were also informed that December 26th on that Naoya Inoue Marlon Tapale's fight card, there were two Japanese gentlemen that fought on that night. A 23-year-old kid is in a coma right now, fighting for his life, went under brain surgery from the injuries he sustained in the ring that night. Okay. So I'm pretty sure leading into the next boxing matches, the big one, which was that one, right? The referees were probably because you got to remember that the referees are not associated or connected to any of these guys. They don't get to say, oh, we want to pick the referee. It doesn't work that way. In order to make everything fair, they hire an outside source, which there's a referee league union, you know? And what they started doing was not announcing who is going to ref the fight the night before the fight because, like, the mob would get to them if they were like, oh, this referee's going to be the referee. Bro, they'd be at that dude's door like, we want to talk to you, right? But if you didn't know which ref it was, you couldn't get to him. So that's how they started kind of doing it. So in the little referee meetings, they were probably announcing, yo, man, this happened to this kid in Japan, man. He's 23 years old. His parents are by his bedside right now. And everybody probably said a prayer just like myself. And the referees were on full alert because we as fight fans complain. Bro, you should have jumped in. Stop the fight. The guy was getting fucking his head punched in. Where the hell are you, ref? The ref's over here on a lunch break. What the hell's going on? Right? We're pissed off, right? Then on flip side to that quarter, this guy, look what happened the other night. Then all of a sudden, the referee jumps in to save the old man, and everybody's appalled. Rolly, they robbed the old man. We want the refs to do their job. Well, tell me exactly when is that? Because he's damn if he do and he's damn if he don't. And sometimes it's up to the towel. They got the corner. They got a towel. They could throw that in for you. $10 chain, round one sports talk, my man. We getting it popping here at Round One Sports Talk. My man Chan's always dropping a donation. Thank you, Chan. Round One Sports Talk. Yo, listen, and it's true. So at that referee meeting, I'm pretty sure he said some shit, but maybe 10 weeks is getting a little weak in the stomach. I don't know, man, because, yeah, the brother was hurt. He was covering up though, and I've seen dudes cover up and come back in fights. So I think that the stoppage was a little premature. Yes, I'm in agreement with that, but I don't think the fight was going to change. I think the referee actually did him a favor because Ortiz looked like he was going to turn him into a punching bag. Ortiz looked like he was starting to turn it up. He was just like turning on the engine. Like he said, bro, I didn't even hit him hard yet. I didn't even get to like, bam, like no. So he might have just saved him from getting his ass whooped like all night because yeah, yeah, that might have just happened. But look, Prime Prime Regal versus Naoya would be if fireworks, but he's Too old as well. Prime Regal's the same kind of fighter as Luis Naris. They're almost like the same style of guy. I mean, okay, they're not like spot on the same technique, right? But they're kind of like similar, and Luis Nara is just a younger version of him. So if anybody's gonna fare well against him is Luis Nara. Listen, this Luis Pantera, bro, he can shock the world, bro. Look, let me tell you something right now. You have just given him the opportunity, not at one belt, not at two, but four. Let me tell you something right now, ladies and gentlemen. It is hard as hell to win one belt in boxing, okay? You might fight 10 years in the amateur, prepare your whole life. And when you start coming up in the pros, mind you, every fight you fight doesn't have to be by knockout, but you will have to win them. Just one loss can set you back 1 or 2 years in your career. Okay? The majority of these men and women that went on to win world titles went into world titles on unbeaten streaks. And that comes into case in point right here when it comes to question versus the level of opposition and quality that the Japanese superstar is fighting. Listen, every man he fought against had to go in an unbeaten streak in order to get an opportunity to fight him at his title, or they already were champion. You see? So the guys that did fight him when they met up with him, make no mistake, they were coming off winning streaks to get that opportunity to knock him out and put themselves in front of him to take what he has is what they this is the game. It's an ugly game. Each man are fighting to move further and further up the ladder. With each test they put in front of them, each man has to show and prove. Am I right? Can I get an R1 for that? And can we get some likes up in here? Show a little respect for the jewels that we dropping up in here. All right. So the Japanese superstar, right? Impressively enough, right? He has passed every test with flying colors. Okay. So Luis Nares has given him the opportunity to win and have a chance to win all four belts. Because I tell you, just winning one of them is hard enough. And if you give me the phone call, case in point, like Devin Haney did, he had one belt, the WBC. He didn't mess around. George Kamboza wanted Lomachenko. He never really wanted to fight Devin Haney. Lomachenko wasn't ready for the fight, being the fact what was going on in Ukraine. The next man up was Devin Haney. He said, if you want me to fight that dude, you're going to have to pay me. And Devin Haney's going to have to bend over backwards if he wants a crack at these three belts. I'm going to make him such a ridiculous deal, he's not going to take it. Guess what happened? They said, ridiculous deal. Devin Haney said, yup, I signed right here. I agree. Oh, Devin Haney, that's a ridiculous deal. I know. You're going to sign 3-fight deal. I know. You're going to get paid $2 million. He's getting 10. I know. I know. But you did say for all four belts. Yeah. Where do I sign? Where? Right here? This right here? Okay. That's what David Haney did. That's an opportunity a lifetime. Four belts? He said, listen, I'll make money later. Just let me get the belts now, right? Now, you're walking around. There are men that are walking around claiming to be the best in the world. And how we separate some of these things is by some of the things that they do. Shakur Stevenson is walking around saying and is revered by many of the boxing fans as one of the best 135 pounders in the world until he busted that egg that his last fight, right? Now, a lot of people started to question it, but needless to say, he's still claiming to be one of the baddest motherfuckers at 135 pounds. Well, why is it when Devin Haney offered you 25% split for all four belts, you said no? In fact, Devin Haney said, okay, I'll renegotiate this. Even though you don't got a belt, Even though you're coming in a new division, even though I'm the A side, even though you ain't never fought on pay per view, even though you ain't never made no big money fights like this, I'm gonna make you another offer, kid. He said no again. Devin Haney didn't care what it said on the contract, but what he got into the sport for as a little kid, dreaming about having all four belts. You mean to tell me you're giving me the other two, and this guy's over talking about you're not offering me enough? What? That doesn't come all the time. So Luis Nares gets a phone call, and they said, "Hey kid, guess what? You want a shot? Listen, the Luis Nares who was at the guy's office in the morning with a coffee, waiting for him to come in. Yeah, it's kind of cold out here. Yeah, 5 in the morning. Yeah, let's sign that paperwork. Yeah, yeah, get in. Here, I got you a nice coffee. You said four belts, right? Huh? Huh? That's how Luis Nares. That's that shit Luis Nares is on, right? Because he's not gonna be. He ain't playing. He wants this opportunity. Not every man is given this kind of opportunity, and you could tell a real one from a fake one when given the opportunity if they take one. I'm trying to tell you, okay? Because there's no way Shakur Stevens should have denied that. I might have fought him for free outside in the parking lot for four of those belts, bro. Man, listen, that is an opportunity of life. That's what we're in the sport for. That's why I get up every day, train harder, stay later, blood, sweat, tears, learn day in, day out, lose with against my training partners, learn to win on fight night, perform. That's what I'm in the game for. And you're gonna say, nah, you know what? I think I'm worth more on that bullshit. That's bullshit, bro. So I will. I wonder if Devin Haney will um unify at 140 like he did at 135. There's possibility. Let me tell you something about Devin Haney right now, ladies and gentlemen. You guys are judging David Haney just like I'm judging David Haney about his performances and what he looks like and the way he's been fighting. Am I correct? Well, I mean that's how I'm judging him, right? I just want to keep this in mind, man. He's a baby. He won those belts at 24 years old. He's 25 years old. He's about to have on some Kobe Bryant, Michael Jordan, well, Kobe Bryant shit, where like he wore the number 8 and he had a career as the number 8, and then he had another Hall of Fame career as the number 24. Like he had two parts of his career, like a Tom Brady. That's what Devin Haney's about to do. Devin Haney got about 35 fucking fights already as a kid. He's only unified. He's just turning 25 years old. He's about to turn into a grown man, wake up as a superior athlete, as a multiple time division world champion. He's going to wake up a man and be like, now I'm going to fight. I think we're about to get an even better version of Devin Haney we've never seen yet. Because I would like to see him fight as a man. He's still a boy. He's not at the prime of his career. He has a few years before he even enters his prime. Devin Haney. Yo, Devin Haney's career is gonna be stupid. That's the kid that's gonna catch Mayweather on the 50. He's young enough. He only need what he need. I'll look Devin Haney up right now. Don't play with me. I'll look Devin Haney's record up right now. He's 31-15 with no losses. He's 25 years old. He's 5'8" with a 71-inch arm reach. He last fought 12-9, 2023. Yeah, against Regis Progress. Man, I'm telling you, Devin Haney already got 31 fights. He's 25 years old. He can catch Floyd. And I know Floyd was after Devin Haney for years. But the one smart thing Devin Haney did was rely on his father. And his father wasn't willing to sign over Devin Haney, his career over to Floyd and them. He was always said, son, if we're gonna do this, believe in me. His father wasn't no scrub, Devin Haney's father. On the low, Devin Haney's dad was a real G, bro. And I don't say that about most men, but on the street level, no disrespect, Devin Haney, or to your father, Bill Haney. I'm pretty sure he's told his story, so I'm not saying anything fucking crazy. It's not like I'm snitching or anything, right? But David Haney's father was from the streets. He used to be like a music producer type dude, and he used to mess around with artists and stuff back in the day out there in Atlanta. I think he comes from Oakland, from out there. So he was, running in the music, but then he got caught up. He went to jail, so he wasn't no fool. He had a little bit of bread though, and he wanted the best for his son Devin Haney. So Mayweather was at him for a long time because Mayweather spent a lot of hours in his gym, him, his father, Roger, all of that, molding Devin Haney. For the type of experience Devin Haney got in his life, being around those type of fighters, money can't buy that shit. You just gotta be like either born into it or you gotta have a father like Bill Haney that betted on his son, that packed up all his shit and moved out to fucking Las Vegas just to be next to Floyd on some type shit like that. Now that's really chasing your dream. And that's what they did. He had his son fighting in Mexico and shit and run down bars and shit. But if you could fight your way out of Mexico, that says a lot, So, being such a young man, Devin Haney has really been through a lot as a fighter. He's gonna kind of be like a Saul Canelo Alvarez, where that you view Saul Canelo Alvarez and you say, "Damn, he's been boxing for ages. He has 60 professional fights." Saul Canelo Alvarez, and he's only 33 years old. He has 60 professional fights. He's 33. So it goes to show you that some fighters really come out of the gate on all cylinders, and some fighters are thrown into the fire. It's either sink or swim. And Devin Haney really showed that he was a young man, but he was fighting against men this whole time. He's been holding his own. He's been criticized. A lot of fighters are going to get criticized for some performances and, being that the fact that sometimes we fall in love with the underdog in the fight, in the moment. You can be captivated by the underdog. And you find yourself cheering for him, and the underdog usually is not Devin Haney. So, and that's where a lot of people can get, like, oh, this guy kind of did good, but fair play. Like that fight coming in with Lomachenko, there were a lot of people that said that Loma won, but I always say this. We know this going into the fight. If the fight is close, you know this going into the fight. If the fight is close, they're going to give the champion's nod, the champion's credit. Damn it, you're the champion. And not only you're the champion of one belt, but that's four belts right there on the line. If you didn't beat him, hands down or take the judges out of the equation like you should have, then you lost the fight, my man. But as a champion, you should get the champion's nod. If the fight is close, as a champion, you're damn right you should give it to me. And that's the benefits of being a champion. You didn't definitively beat me, so you know that's how that goes. But look, it just goes to show you that, the Japanese superstar is not sitting on a shelf for nobody. He ain't waiting for anybody. I'm pretty sure they called MJ first, but MJ wasn't going to be ready. I didn't think he was going to be ready coming off his last performance where inside of the ring, he was talking about what? Going on vacation. While coming out of that fight, he said he didn't want to talk about anybody else. You see? So I knew when he got the phone call, he wasn't going to be ready. And he was going to try to act like one of those diva fighters that the Japanese superstar was probably going to wait for him. Huh, I bet you he got a big surprise when the announcement was made that no, they found someone else. The Japanese superstar is on a schedule, and if you're not on his schedule, they just call someone else, next man up. That's how that works. So, look, fight fans, I think, um, man, I keep doing this to myself. I gotta bring up these messages again right now because I totally lost track of us. Here we go. I want to make sure that I can talk um dirty and oh, who's dirty and oh, agree. All right, let me catch up to you guys. Round one, yeah. Whoa, first. Oh, what's up? One way street. What's up, baby? Michael, what's up? Dutch, what's up? I wonder if Denny will unify the bubble. Yeah, I read that. Undisputed at 23 years old. Insane. Yes, it was insane. And he was a young champion so fast in his career. A lot of people don't stop to think about his real success and there's real harsh on him because of course we are. We want blood, you know what I mean? And I understand, but wow, for being a kid like that, I mean, look at the men that were around him while he was coming up that was supposed to be where he's at right now. Hank Davis is supposed to have all those belts, and he's come up around him, but yet Tank Davis is supposed to be the one to beat him. Shakur Stevenson's around him. Lomachenko is around him. Ryan Garcia came up around him. All these men, right? And there are much more, okay, that were supposedly be the next best thing. This 23-year-old kid beat all of you. Tiafima Lopez, all of those guys came up with Devin Haney. And that 23-year-old kid beat all of them out. And guess what they got to do every night when they turn on their TV? They got to watch Devin Haney live out their dream because he got there first. He dared to be great early in his career. He took big chances and he didn't shy away from no one. In fact, after that comment that Tevin Tank Davis said to him on social media about him being emailed the WBC championship, a lot of people made memes about him and mocked him about that it was hard for him to get fights. Yeah, because no one took him seriously as the champion. It was fucked up, bro. He went through a little sputter there, and it wasn't his fault. He was only doing what he to fight. The dude didn't want to fight him. He vacate the belt, Lomachenko, and they emailed him the belt. And lo and behold, they're emailing Tank Davis a belt now. Ain't that a bitch? They emailed Tank Davis the WBA title, and because of his pride, he tried to act all tough and show the world that he denied it. But the WBA is not going to play with you. The WBA is a business, an organization. And because what you got going back on social media and you're embarrassed about taking it over an email, let me tell you something, Mr. Tate Davis. If I hang up this phone right now and you do not accept this belt, you have no belt with our organization. Can I get an answer? And Tank Davis said, yes, sir. Okay, I'll take the belt. What else is he going to say? I talk about I don't want no belts. I don't need no belts. Belts don't mean shit. If belts didn't mean shit, Tank Davis, why the hell are you holding on to that interim title that just turned into the super title? These guys be full of shit sometimes trying to sell some fights. But Tank Davis is the champion right now. So, you instinctively I would think that he would go after another belt. I would want to fight Shakur Stevenson. Even though Shakur Stevenson had a bad performance, he still got a big name. He's got the WBC. If I was Tank, let's get it, baby. That's the fight to be made anyway at 135. Um, you know, and he probably has the best resume of any fighter at 25 years old. You're damn right he does. And name me a fighter under 25 years old that have all four belts. I'll wait. We'll start right there. We'll start right there. We'll get right to the source. You know. Wait a minute. Um, nah, the Japanese fighter don't got all four belts. There's another Japanese fighter, not Naoya Inoue. There's another one, even at a lower weight class. I be rocking their names, bro, but I know who he is. You should. I, 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 I can't spell his name. I don't. I can't remember what his name is. It'll be hard to look up. I could just look up the weight division, right? I just look up the weight division, go down. I still ain't gonna say his name correctly, but anyway, I think he got three belts. I don't think he got four. I think he just unified all three. Because I know he had two and he was scheduled to fight for three, but I don't think I caught that fight. Naoya Inoue and Devin Haney would go a long way. That would be a real test of course, we would have to get the Japanese guy to gain a lot of weight. I wouldn't be scared to put him against him in height because if you're not scared to put Devin Haney against Tank Davis, which mind you, the Japanese superstar and Tank Davis are the exact same height. Tank Davis is 5'5", the Japanese superstar is 5'5". Okay? So if you're not scared to put him against Tank Davis because of height against Devin Haney, then that's not the issue. The issue is the body mass, the weight, the size, the thickness of the athlete, right? And the Japanese superstar has a more skinny frame, where the Javante Tank Davis, he's built like a tank. He's solid. He's so that's where that would come into question. So even if you could string out Devin Haney, which if the Japanese superstar beats him, they're gonna say you dehydrated Devin Haney, so he's never gonna get the credit that he deserves. The only way that this fight would actually be like great feasible would that the Japanese superstar fought him at a catch weight above 135. He fought him like 136, 138, somewhere around there. Devin Haney only had to lose 2 pounds, 3 pounds. You take Devin Haney away from 140 and you dehydrated him 3 more pounds. He not just making the 135 where he complained that he could no longer make that weight. So we can't go to 135. So where could be a little bit more comfortable? 138. 138. And that's where you would have to get the fight for it to be competitively fair and you can give both men their credit in victory. If you make Devin Haney come down too far, they're gonna say you weight drained him. And if the Japanese dude knocks him out, he ain't gonna get no credit for that. And then so you're not gonna get the Japanese dude to jump all the way up to 140. It's not even feasible in my mind at 138. Okay, I don't think he would ever make 138, right? But that's where it would have to be hypothetically, if to please the masses. But like I said, but let's say like the Japanese superstar agreed to fight him, right? And they were to get inside of a ring. And let's say they came in walking up off the street. Let's say Devin Haney came in at fight weight 140 and the Japanese came off his street weight 136, right? This Japanese dude walks around 136. 136, right around there. That's what he works around, right? So 135, 136, that's what the Japanese dude walks around at. And we put him in the ring sparring. I would like to see that. But tell him to put no headgear on. They probably, not going to agree to fight. But that would be a good fight because I want to see how the Japanese dude fights against a brother like that has that much skill. But I believe that he fought skilled fighters already. Donito Donaire is one of the top fighters in the world for a reason. He's a Hall of Famer for a reason. And he's fought crafty fighters, Boricua fighters. In fact, Yamel Rodriguez is a dog, and he dispatched him so it was it, wa- it was incredible. So look, this fight right here against Luis Nares, right, and the Japanese superstar, you know, um, it speaks volumes in so many different ways. One, it's speaking to every fighter that just fought. Look how fast I'm scheduling my next fight already. And look what kind of champion I am. And that I'm not taking no vacation or any time off. Fresh off the victory of unifying two belts at 122 and beating Stephen Kubo Fulton, he said, I'll meet you in December, 6 months later. He didn't need any time off. You know, he's really showing that, there's only a small window in boxing. And I talk about this. Uh, the usual career, roughly around 6 to 10 years. A great career is 15 to 20 years. Remarkable. Not a lot of fighters live to see a 20-year career in boxing. Very special men and women have, but it's not something that happens every day. So, in your lifetime, what is taking you a lifetime to achieve? Hard work, dedication, every day from a child. All the amateur years doesn't count. The only thing that counts from here on in is what you do in the pros. And after 10, 12 years of that, your career is over with. It's what you do within that time that matters and counts. And if you want to go on a vacation for a year after each fight, you're gonna have a 5 year career. Career. 5 years on, 5 years off. That's a 10-year career. Yeah. So a lot of these fighters got to understand by taking vacations that's not the right move. You got to keep your body in peak fighting level condition. You got to keep your eye to eye coordination, your feet, everything firing on all cylinders and constantly training in the gym, waiting for your next opponent. That's the real warrior's life. That's the real warrior's creed. And if you want to get into this fight and this business, that's a real warrior's life right there. There isn't time for vacation, and when you have chosen the lifestyle as a fighter, a gladiator's lifestyle is truly a lonely man's sport. You can't have no entourages and shit behind you because you don't have time for all of that. You need to train inside there to give yourself the best opportunity and the best chances to make sure you don't get injured. Make sure you keep your life in that ring. Play around a little bit too much in that ring, you can lose your life. There's a lot of sports you can play. You can play baseball, you can play basketball, you can play football, but you can't play boxing. You go in there, you play around, you're gonna get hurt. Look, this is a real unique time for boxing. This gentleman is truly showing why he's levels above a lot of these men. He's really showing with, you know, if you don't mess around and you captivate on all your opportunities, what kind of champion you can end your career as. When it's all said and done, that's all that really counts. Is what you did in the ring. Did you achieve? And men like Naoya Inoue and Terrence Crawford are really, really putting boxing on their shoulders. And they are the kind of men that have been giving us these big fights. 2024 is going to be another stellar year of boxing. I can already feel it. And being that the year's going to kick off with the Japanese superstar heading into his most prominent division yet, being the 126 and 130, now you're talking. Now we got some big fighters, bigger men, and perhaps more bigger names. As he gets up, some of these men do have the opportunity to get more bigger names at 126, and hopefully they can entice the Japanese superstar to come to America and allow us to see him out here in America. My last video, gentleman asked me if it was important for him to come to America, and I said, hell yeah, it is. Because it's also giving us as fans an opportunity to get to see him live. Not everyone has the opportunity to rent out a hotel and get a passport, travel out to Japan and get Japanese money and rent hotels and everything like that. When merely if he was just to come out here to Madison Square Garden, he's in New York City. I'll take a train. I'm big. I'm in the building, baby. You know, so and that would be awesome. That would be great to see because I know firsthand that until the day I went to see a fight live or an event live, that I realized what the difference was from sitting at home and watching it live. And the thought, even though I know I probably won't get it, but the thought of maybe catching an interview with him inspires me to go, you know. Um, who knows? Maybe I will, So it inspires me to look forward to it. So, but yes, boxing is very it has a great future right now. There are a lot of big boxers and big matches coming up. I wanted to make this breakdown right here for a long time. I've been having you guys are my real fans. You guys know I've been having these mic issues and things, but it seems like we've cleared up some of these things, and we're gonna start to get some things going around here around One Sports Talk, and as well as get better angles on the cameras because here at Round One Sports Talk, we're gonna start to improve on a lot of things. So um, we're gonna make a lot of changes, big things around here. So you know, keep watching the channel. And if you're not a member, please subscribe and give the video a like. You know, uh, so yeah. We're doing big things around here, man. You know what I mean? You like that? You like that, don't you? Yo, my man. So, let me check up on see what you guys got going here. Wow. So listen. All right. So, and as well, just to remind all the boxing fight fans out there that we will be having Teofimo Lopez is making his ring return against Jamie Ortiz. Keyshawn Davis is on that card too. That's a young man I wanted to see, another top American prospect. Xander Zion, he's making a. Um, I have to look them more up on that right there. Those are some of the interesting fighters. Of course, we have Anthony Joshua fighting against Francis Ngannou out in the desert. A lot of people find that very interesting. I used to think that these were spectacle fights for the sport, but now I see that it is also bringing eyes to the sport. Francis Ngannou, in his own right, got his own fans, and he has won over the hearts of many fans with that performance against Tyson Fury. Uh, no one thought, including myself, that he would even come even close. In fact, going into that fight, I found it almost laughable of thinking that he would even knock down Tyson Fury until I saw it with my own eyes. The moment I saw that, I didn't think that that man was a joke anymore. He won me over in that moment, and it was like the little train that could. With every round that passed, I kept, edging him on. In fact, I placed a bet. I betted on him. I went for the underdog, but did I really think he was gonna win? I went for the home run. It was a little $20. I don't gamble, but every now and then I'll do something like that, right? It's worth it, right? 20 to win you whatever, right? So I was like, hey, let's go for it. Um, but after that third round, I didn't think he was a joke anymore. And I knew that he was there to fight. I thought that Tyson Fury was gonna say, okay, you knocked me down, joke's over, and now like really step forward and give it to him, right? But I saw when then Tyson Fury was leaning on him that Francis Ngannou was just as big and it didn't affect him. Being all that UFC on the ground shit probably really paid off for him in this moment. He couldn't weigh on that man. He was just snugging him off like, get off me. And it wasn't none of that in this fight. So he took out away a lot of elements that made Tyson Fury successful in his fights. And when he didn't have that to rely on, because of his lack of preparation and training, he was fucked. He knew he was fucked. So he went back to the basic fundamentals. His corner had to remind him, yo, remember, this guy can't box. And Tyson Fury was like, yo, just throw the jab. Snap the jab. And that's what he did. He went out there and he was just snapping the jab, just jab, jab. Oh no. Do we see another dope nation round one sport? Oh, that's how we doing it. Listen, yo. So anyway, but but um uh Tyson Fury goes on, right? And he has like this style of fighting where that if he can't utilize some of his key things like hanging on the guy, breaking the guy down, hitting him with that side shot in the rib, all those little tactics pays off for him in the later rounds when the guy's broken down, when the guy's tired, when the guy's fatigued, right? Um, all those things play a factor, right? So he didn't have any of that against Francis Ngannou. He didn't have none of that. And that man was standing in front of him defensively sound, mind you. Francis Ngannou wasn't no slouch when it came to you throwing punches to him, and he wasn't just like a guy like like a novice. Like he wasn't like panicking. He wasn't like this. No, he was blocking shots, blocking with his hand. He was blocking his jab sometime. In the beginning, in the beginning round when he came out with that technique. But then as soon as he hit him with that big shot, his inexperience, he kept looking for the big shot again, then rather than the success that got him to that big shot. And his inexperience as a young boxer, his only first fight, that's where experience would have came into play, in that moment like that. So, I really think that uh how would he fare against Anthony Joshua? Look, guys, I'm good to hear you got an audio under control. Thank you. Yes, it is. It is great to know that I got this audio under control. Thank you very much, Ed. Ephraim, look, I think that Anthony Joshua is a much more skilled boxer. Where he was going to play a fact, where Tyson Fury would against a man like Anthony Joshua would have been Tyson Fury's his size and his ability to hang on the guy, and to try to like he has that nice 1-2. That's his signature 1-2. Tyson Fury, he has that pop pop, and he hits you with that big right? Okay. Um, Other than that, he can move pretty well for a heavyweight. He's phenomenal head up and body movement where he's able to evade shots. And the one thing that Tyson Fury does really well is get inside of his opponent's head while in the fight. He talks to his opponent, he's talking trash, he's talking trash at the weigh-in. He's that psychological warfare. He plays that very well. That does play a factor into fights. So when Anthony Joshua was fighting a guy like that, I thought it would be like worser. But coming against Francis Ngannou, I actually think that Anthony Joshua is a worser threat than Tyson Fury would have been for Francis Ngannou. Yeah, yeah. I think just stylistically, their height, the way they fight, I think Joshua is a lot more dangerous than actually Tyson Fury would have been for Francis Ngannou. Yeah, yeah, Anthony Joshua can fight better. He's a better boxer. And he hits hard. And I think that Francis Ngannou's inexperience this time might come into play. Because for God's sake, all these men know, bro, he doesn't have that much boxing experience. There are going to be certain things in the fight he's not going to know how to do or how to deal with because it's going to be his first time. You're a professional boxer. You've been boxing for years. You've been heavyweight champion of the world. You've been in worse situations. Just put him in some of those situations. Go out there, champ. Come on. That's it. Put him in some of those situations early to Francis Ngannou. He's not gonna know how to react to that in the fight because box that comes with experience. You can't learn that shit. And to all the people that say, "Oh, this guy dropped this guy in sparring," yo, don't listen to that shit. Don't ever pay attention to any of that shit because sparring and fight night are two different things. You cannot imitate the crowd, your emotions, your family in the crowd. You can't imitate fight night and sparring. All the anxiety. You can't do that. You can't emulate that. You got two guys going in as sparring with not a care in the world, slugging it the fuck out. Sparring is so different than fight night. If you get dropped in sparring, guess what? That's where you're supposed to get dropped. That's where you're supposed to be working on your mistakes, your flaws, techniques, taking risk. That's where you're supposed to drop down to a knee in sparring. Your sparring partners are supposed to be bringing the best out of you. If they're not trying to knock your head off or bring you down, then what good are they? So when people release videos about other guys beating guys in sparring, please don't take that and say, well, if he beat him in sparring, he can beat him in a real match. Nope. No. Yes, he will know that guy better. Yes, experience wise, if they were to fight, right? Yes, he would know that guy better. But sparring, you is no there's no way you can imitate sparring on Friday night, and no one seems to take that into account. When they have all those tapes on social media about Devin Haney and Tank Davis, I've never watched them because sparring is sacred. You ain't supposed to be taking no videos of sparring and then coming out later and talking shit, bro. I was, who knows if I'm bringing it down a level and just working on some things and you caught me. We were sparring, bro. And now you want to take that tape and bring it out somewhere and say, look, I did this to him. And I got all these people in my ear talking shit when I know I'll rock you. And then, if God willing, we sign a contract. And then you find out the hard way just because we sparred one day. And then Jamel Charlo came in that ring against that dude, hit him with the uppercut. He thought because they sparred in the gym and he fared well against them. Look what happened to him. He was trying to tell him, bro, we were sparring. What are you doing? And some people try to get clout off that shit. That's not cool. That's not cool. Because when we sparring, babe. We training. That's not cool. And that's not how you judge any fighter at all. Yeah. And so, guys, um, I'm gonna be making more videos now. I seem to have my system going correctly, the mic, so everything's going great. Let me read up on some of you guys. All right, what's up, guy? What's up, John? Oh, Fury or Usyk? All right. Usually, who do I got? Fury or Usyk, right? In this case, the reason what's making Usyk such a success is that he was a cruiserweight before he became a heavyweight. The men he fought were a lot faster, and in the heavyweight division, the men are a lot slower. His small stature and quicker speed but heavy punch is what's making him successful in the heavyweight division. He surprised Anthony Joshua early in the first fight, but he just beat him in the second fight because he had him mentally beat. Coming into this fight against Tyson Fury is not the type of man that one, he's not mentally beat. Two, he's coming off a lackluster performance. And the only times I've ever seen Tyson Fury rise to the occasion is when he had fire and criticism under his ass. One thing you can say about Tyson Fury, there's a lot of things you can say about him actually, but he sometimes he's a character. He's fuck up. He's had issues, but the man loves competition. And when there's competition and there's a man outside talking about he can beat you, Tyson Fury is gonna look out to the side and say, whose name you call? He rises to the occasion. Mind you, he had all three belts, and the only belt that eluded him was the WBC. He was off in some hotels, all coked up, drunked up, hanged over, popping pills, watching the TV when one guy got up and said, Tyson Fury, you better be lucky you retired, because if you didn't retire, Dante Wilder, I would have knocked you out. You better run. You better run. He woke that man up. To remind you what that man looked like? His gut was out to here. He was all coked out, drunked out. He was done. He was riding off into the sunset until this dude decided to poke the bear, Dante Wilder, and said, I got the belt, the only belt you never had. Tyson Fury turned around, didn't he? What happened? Not once, not twice. You guys know the story, right? Tyson Fury is coming off a lackluster performance where he feels not only did he let himself down, his dad, his people, and he feels inside that a guy on his professional debut did that to him. It wasn't that a fact that it was a top 10 fighter or even an underdog boxer. He was much more less than what you can imagine. A guy on his debut switching sports? Really, Tyson Fury? Like I said, this wasn't no underdog. Like he was ranked at least top 30. For God's sake, this guy was on his debut. And when you got shit like that to happen to an egotistical man like Tyson Fury, that shit like that fucks with him at night. He's the type of man that doesn't like to be embarrassed. Not that kind of man. You see? That's why I know Tyson Fury's going to show up against Usyk. The one thing that has eluded Tyson Fury his whole boxing career is that he's never unified all four belts. He's never had all four belts. He's had all four belts in different points and times in his career, but they were separate points in time. He didn't have them collectively together at the same exact time. He had three, then now he has one. You see? So the one thing that has eluded him is that the unification of all four belts. So you mean to tell me that he's been calling himself the Gypsy King, right? He had every Hall of Fame champion still alive today shake his hand on the way out. All Francis Ngannou was had crazy ass Mike Tyson with him. And at the end of the fight, Mike Tyson was jumping around, and all of those guys' faces like, told y'all, I told y'all. Mike Tyson was on an island by himself. That he had all the other fighting gods saying, yo, you picking the mixed martial art guy? This is our guy, a boxing guy. And Mike said, I'm going to rock with him. Yo, that was crazy. Tyson Fury is going to beat the brakes off of off of Usyk. He's going to hurt Usyk. The only thing that Usyk can do to try to chase him is gain weight. And by Usyk gaining weight, that's going to hurt Usyk. In fact, it's going to make him a little bit slower and sluggish. He's going to try to gain weight to get a little bit more power and a little bit more size so that Tyson Fury doesn't lean on him, right? Okay. That weight, that extra weight that he's going to pull on is going to come and hurt him later in the rounds. Tyson Fury is going to hit him to the body. He's going to hit him to the body. He's going to shock Usyk, and then he's going to finish Usyk off. He's going to knock Usyk out. That's who I got picked in the fight. He's Tyson Fury's. I'm trying to tell you, people, when it's situations like this for this Tyson Fury dude, every single time his back is against the wall, don't bet against him. It's like betting against Brady. Don't do it. You're gonna lose. You're gonna lose, bro. Don't bet against Tyson Fury like this. I'm trying to tell you, man. And that's the only reason. If it was a lot of other factors, maybe I thought that Uzi would probably surprise him. With the speed, I didn't think that Uzi had enough power to knock him out, but I thought he had enough speed and mobility to, make it a great fight and edge out the fight in points. I felt that Uzi could have won in a decision. Yeah, he could beat Tyson Fury in a decision. But being the fact that everything happened to Tyson Fury this way and everything that played out, I don't know. My money's on Tyson Fury. What my money would be on Tyson Fury. You know what I mean? But yeah, that's what I would go. At a certain point, the little guy can always beat the bigger guy with skill. But when you got two, it's not about skill anymore because they're both skilled. He's just a bigger guy. So you got two skilled guys, and he happens to be bigger. That's what you got there. It's not the less skilled, the more skilled guy going up against a slower dude. That's not what you got here. Tyson Fury's fast as fuck, boy. He's fast as fuck, boy. And he gonna light that ass up with that jab. Tyson Fury's gonna, Usyk's gonna try to go like this, come underneath and hit him like this, and Tyson Fury has that big uppercut. Boom. And then I see Usyk like getting upright, trying to go like this, and then Tyson Fury lulling him to sleep, not going downstairs for a while, just going upstairs, and then one big shot to the body, boom, and he's gonna hit him and surprise him, just like Dubois surprised Usyk to the body. Whether you or not thought it was a clean shot, that's not important. That fight's over with. But it shows that he can be hurt to the body. And Tyson Fury has those long, lengthy arms, and he knows how to throw it, and he's good with body shots. So I just think he's gonna fare well, and he always just rises to the occasion for me. That's all. And he's a good fighter too, Tyson Fury. And let's be honest. Am I jumping off a cliff by saying Tyson Fury's gonna beat him here? No. you know, Usyk will beat the brakes off of Tyson. Could be. He could. He could very well do it. The only problem is that, like I said, had they fought at a different year, like last year, 6 months ago, I think Usyk might have surprised him, Tyson Fury. Every single time Tyson Fury is a back against the wall and he wants to prove the naysayers wrong, he shows up. He showed up against Dante Wilder. He showed up against the guy. I remember this one dude knocked him down in the ring. He got back up and knocked him the fuck out. Uh, Tyson Fury, for some reason, when he wasn't tested anymore, he had the three belts. His life was spiraling out of control. Just talked about this. And fucking Dante Wilder called him out of retirement, bro. And that guy got off the couch with a belly like this big, bro. And he was past 300 pounds, bro. And he started training. And the Rocky music started playing in the back of his fucking head and he came out. And mind you, at the time, Dante Wilder was considered the most ferocious heavyweight of all time, being the fact that he had a record of 40 fights with 40 knockouts. 40 fights with 40 knockouts. There wasn't a man alive that could stand in the ring with him with 12 rounds without him hitting him with that big ass right hand. Okay? And that's what Tyson Fury got off the couch to go fight. Usyk's lost, whatever. He's the most powerful puncher in the world. He said, hold up. Not once, not twice. Come on, man. Whenever he's in a situation like this, Tyson just steps up over that lackluster performance with Don Anthony Francis Ngannou. All the criticism he got after that, the way his wife looked at him, the way he came out, made all those legends give him high five, and all those legends, the entire boxing world dodged a bullet. Had he lost that fight after that kind of fucking performance, after saying that stupid humorous joke that his wife thinks he's a king, he came out with the crown with all that shit on, and the fan said, in the end, bro, you lost that fight. If I was Usyk, I wouldn't have took his next fight. I would have let Tyson fight someone else. Then I would come back and fight him. But not the very next fight. I'm trying to tell you, he's going to fold Usyk like a lawn chair. Tyson Fury's going to fold him like a lawn chair. He going, boom, and he's just going to. Not unless age finally caught up to him. Because now that I still want to see too. Was it really age that caught up to him, or was he taking Francis Ngannou lightly? You know. But yeah, I think he's gonna fold him, bro. He just for right now. I have no reason why to bet against Tyson Fury in this type of situation. When every time he's been in this type of situation, he's overexceeded. So as far right now, I got no reason to think otherwise. Um, Uzyk's gonna have to show me for once right now that besides Anthony Joshua, that he can beat a top heavyweight. Besides Anthony Joshua, what top heavyweight has he ever beaten? Usyk. I'll wait. Give me a name. Who? Dubois? Don't even start because Dubois was no top heavyweight. Okay. So next, what else? What other heavyweight has Usyk earned the right to say, besides fighting Joshua, that you can say he's been in the heavyweight division and he's cleaned out the heavyweight division? Who? Who? You guys are forgetting who Usyk really is. He's a cruiserweight, playing heavyweight, until a real heavyweight steps in the ring with him. You guys are putting a lot of stock on Usyk. Like, he's been getting by on his skill, okay, and lackluster performances, right? You know, not real tier top level heavyweights. His last fight, Dubois. Come on, man. Dubois just fought a dude that was over 300 pounds. That was his last opponent. Dubois got quit in him. You could break that dude. We all know that. His chin is also is suspect. What credit are you giving Usyk? For who? A mentally beaten Anthony Joshua? That nigga ain't never been right since he lost them belts to that Mexican dude that knocked him out in Madison Square Garden. He ain't never been right since then. Since John Ruiz knocked his punk ass out. He ain't been straight. Anthony Joshua, he's been a mental wreck. And Usyk went in there and beat on a mental ill person that needs sports mental psychology. He needs a sports therapist. Anthony Joshua starts grabbing the mic after the loss and shit, starts telling his life story. Yeah, we already know you fucking lost. Give me the microphone. Get the hell out of here. Yo, yo, that's not fair. Evander Holyfield was a cruiserweight at one point. That's not fair. Okay, you cannot judge Evander Holyfield with Usyk. All right, Evander Holyfield was the best cruiser. I'm a light heavyweight champion to probably ever fucking exist. Usyk couldn't hold fucking Evander Holyfield's jockstrap. He didn't do it with the level competition Evander Holyfield had. Evander Holyfield was the real deal. He was a monster at cruiserweight. A monster. If you put Evander Holyfield in his prime against Usyk, he will wipe Usyk down. Bro, me lo quito if he don't knock that man out, bro. There is no way Usyk had the skills as Evander Holyfield, bro. Or I don't know boxing, bro. I stand on that, bro. Evander Holyfield was such a dominating force man, get the fuck out of here. There is no way on God's green earth he could be compared to an Usyk. But now Evander Holyfield went up to heavyweight and he started playing heavyweight champion, right? Evander Holyfield wasn't stupid, right? When he was up in the heavyweights, he fought the big fights. He fought the big boys. He fought the fucking you know, very old of George Foreman. But in old George Foreman is still a dangerous punching George Foreman. I would not like to get punched by George Foreman. When he fought the Lennox Lewis, that's probably one of the men that are going down for probably one of the best heavyweights of all time, being that the way he fared with him, really solidified himself as a heavyweight when he fought those kind of men. He needed to fight those kind of men, the Mike Tysons and people like that. He didn't come up you know, wanting to play heavyweight. He wanted to be the best at heavyweight. So he went and challenged the best heavyweights. Usyk is not on that level. He didn't kick open the front door of the heavyweight division and fight every single heavyweight. He fought one heavyweight champion, Anthony Joshua. I'll give him credit for that. He gets all my credit for him. He didn't beat him once, but he beat him twice. He gets all my respect and credit for it. But who else? Okay, what other name do you got? What else did you do? Evander Holyfield fought the who's who in the heavyweight. He fought everybody. Every heavyweight champion. So he proved he didn't shy away. He was a little guy. He was out, but he had a skill. And he was a specimen of a man. Bro, he looked like a freaking like a statue just cut ripped. And every time he threw punches like a boxer should. Like they look like and he fought well past his prime, weighed into his late age, and he took some losses and he had some issues with the heart thing and stuff, and he shouldn't have fought later on in his career. But Evander Holyfield is nothing like in comparison with a Usyk. I will never compare Usyk to Evander Holyfield because that would be disrespecting Evander Holyfield. Evander Holyfield is a much more decorated champion than Usyk is. Even though Usyk got the 4 belts in cruiser, it's just the way he did it. Those guys that were there, they weren't like the cruiserweights Evander was knocking out, right? And he didn't do it in the style that Evander knocked them dudes out. And he also didn't do it in the style in the way that Evander did it in the heavyweights. So in both areas, Usyk can't touch him. He can't touch him in cruiserweight, and he can't touch his heavyweight professional record. So where does Usyk can stand next to him? Where? You know what I'm saying? So when you say like light and lead, yeah, well, Randall was that was a special man. That was one special dude. There's not a lot of humans in this world that can do that and pull that off. And being as small as Evander was never a real heavyweight man. I don't give a fuck, what you think. But neither was Mike Tyson. Neither was Mike Tyson. For God's sake, Mike Tyson 5'11", bro. Mike Tyson ain't no goddamn 6 feet tall. Okay? He ain't even no 6 feet tall. So, they were little heavyweights. But there was a lot of good quality opponents to fight, you know. And yeah, no, but Usyk came up in a real interesting time. There wasn't really anybody in cruiserweight. There wasn't no real big names, man. He had enough skill to clean out the division. Good for you. I can't take that away from you. You accomplished that, brother. You know, um, and then now you're in the heavyweight and you beat one guy for 3 belts, for all the belts. You only beat one guy and you happen to get all the belts off one guy. Oh, well, I can't also take nothing away from you from that neither. Um, but as far as your name being placed again amongst in the same conversation with like Evander Holyfield, not yet. You haven't done enough. You just don't got enough to be placed in that conversation yet. Now he beats Tyson Fury. Usyk beats Tyson Fury. You can start putting them in conversations like that because he will go down in a very unique situation. You see? But you have to understand that not all awards and all accolades translate to the same thing. See, some situations can confuse a person, right? And you would think because of a boxer's accomplishments or his awards that he would merit such titles, right? Okay. For case in point, in for instance, if Saul Canelo Alvarez and Jamel Charlo, if Jamel Charlo would have pulled out the upset that night, right? And he would have became the second man in boxing history to unify all four belts in two separate weight divisions, and he would go down and say, I'm better than Ali. Muhammad Ali never did that. Who can argue with him? Then, when you have that kind of award and you're saying that you're better than these legends, is he better than the legends? No. So sometimes the award don't tell the story. Perhaps you were there at the right place at the right time and got the right opportunity. You only got to beat one guy, you see? So some of these champions, like Usyk, for instance, only beat one guy, but he got so much. So that when you view him, you're like, man, he's one of the best. He's one of the best. Look at everything he got. Nobody can beat him. He went from cruiserweight because his awards speak volumes. But sometimes they don't tell the whole story and they don't tell the correct story. There have been men that gotten to the point where he's at with much more skill and a much worthy and a better heavyweight credentials. Do you understand? You see? So the illusion can sometimes blind you to what's really going on. To tell you the truth, Uzi hasn't really fought too many great heavyweights. He hasn't really. And ever since Anthony Joshua got his ass whooped by that Mexican, he was never really the same man. He looked scared to pull the trigger both times against Usyk. Am I right? So he had a wounded mental fighter in his hands. Watch out what you give him credit for. Slow down. Tyson Fury's gonna knock him out, man. Mark my words. Listen, people, I love you guys. It's been a great episode. I love talking to you guys and knowing that you guys are actually hearing me makes me feel that much better. It allows the flow of the show. It allows my creativity side to really get into its mode. And that's where I need to be. I can't have distractions of a mic distracting me or my video or my audio because it don't really feel like I give the best performances. When I'm locked in, laser focused like this, I feel like the videos come out much better. So thank you once again. Please give me another like. If you haven't already, please like this video right now. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. I encourage you to subscribe. And like always, we're on to the next one. Peace. That was a good episode. Like it. Locked in, laser focused.